Hi everyone, welcome to a very special video here on Cardiac. Now you'll notice I do not have a shirt on, however I am wearing pants and shoes. I'm about to get a shirt on because someone is about to go see a movie. Now granted, this movie has been out for like a week already, but this is the perfect time for me to go do so. So we're gonna go see It Chapter 2. Now I have not seen Chapter 1. However, if you are into the horror community and you've seen it, or at least are aware of it, you kind of already know like what the storyline is and what's happened. And I know that Chapter 1, there was more than what was in the original Tim Curry mini-series. However, I'm just very excited to see this movie because I've seen nothing but good things. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So we're gonna go and see it and review it, and yeah, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Here when we saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there was a whole lot of it around here. All that's left is this beanie for 13 bucks and this come home for like 16. That's it. Wow, Pennywise, you fell off the deep end. As you know, I usually come in for my Coke Freestyle, but how always it never tastes, it tastes funny, but we'll find out how it works this time. Fingers crossed. We've been working Pizza Hut, so I actually had this during the Scary Stories, so I'm gonna get me this little pepperoni pizza, because it actually filled me up, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I may also get a candy to make do with this as well, so this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so as we're walking into the theater, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my expectations with it. So obviously, like everyone's been saying, Chapter 1's been really good. It's fantastic. I think, and I've heard nothing but good things about Chapter 2. I know that there has been a little bit of criticisms when it comes to a specific point in Chapter 2 where someone's orientation is mocked and joked at, and that's something in particular that I wanted to keep an eye on because without actually seeing it, I think people forget that like Pennywise preys on your worst fears, and so I think that he's gonna go for any single thing he can think of, including someone's sexuality, and that's how I want to approach that particular moment, is how is it going to turn out. So that's what I'm thinking as of right now. But right now we're gonna go into our lovely, amazing loungers and go enjoy ourselves. Okay, bye. Yo, they had to put a photosensitivity notice here at the front of the thing. That is fantastic. I love this. This is great. So something else I want to comment on is the fact that so this particular section of the theater that we're sitting in was being redone when we went to see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. However, this one was redone and they added a seat warmer literally in this chair, and it's fantastic. So I'm not going to be freezing cold the whole movie. Score. And here we are. Alright. See you afterwards. Whew. Alright, let's buckle up, fuckers. Before we get started, spoiler alert. This is your warning. You have a couple seconds. And let's get into it. Point number 1. You really didn't need to see Chapter 1 to understand the events of Chapter 2. Now, I know this is kind of weird, and I totally am aware of that, especially someone who is in the horror community and loves horror movies. To not see it is kind of interesting, but the way that it's set up, you don't really need to have seen Chapter 1 to understand exactly the obstacles and the situations that the Chapter 2 characters are involved in. But I will say that it does not hurt to see Chapter 1 to understand kind of the backstory and what exactly is happening as kids and as to why this is a huge problem, which is great. Point 2. The homosexuality thing. Now, I said this earlier in the video, I was genuinely interested to see how gay was going to play. Yep, I said that. I fucking said that. What for me was super important is I really wanted to know exactly, because I knew about Richie and Eddie and how Richie really felt about Eddie, but I wasn't expecting the gay couple at the beginning. Now, here's the thing. The SJWs are gonna say that it is being homophobic or Pennywise is not for gays. Let's not forget that Pennywise feeds on people's fears, and the fact that there's a gay couple that is having a moment is great. I'm glad that we're not tiptoeing around the fact that a character's gay and keeping them alive because they happen to like dick. Just my thoughts. As well as too, we can't skirt around the fact that this kind of abuse still exists. It exists. Does it fucking suck? Yes, it does. Do we mask that and pretend like it's not a thing? No. Because guess what? When you put more of those characters in the forefront, guess what? It's normalizing it. It's making it, hey, this shit happens, and hey, it sucks when people act like assholes to other people when, let's be honest, all of us are gonna fucking get into the same goddamn grave, so let's not treat each other like assholes. So for the people who were saying that it was very anti-gay and shit like that, suck a big one. No one gives a fuck. Like, it was a good entertaining movie. 3, there was a lot more humor in it than I was expecting. Let me be honest, because I hadn't seen chapter 1, I didn't know what to expect going in because a lot of the previews and everything were making out like very intense. It was going to be very dark from the get-go, but that wasn't the case. There was actually a lot more humor, especially at the beginning of chapter 2, than with a little bit of it peppered through near the end of it, obviously, because there's a lot more tension happening and there's a lot more writing on it. I thought it was a great tension breaker, and it was actually very funny, and I was very glad that a lot of that was happening, especially for those bright, happy moments when they're coming back together and then realizing shit's about to go down. And I'm glad that they did it because it was super important to the story of these characters coming back and having that dynamic again after 27 years of being apart. Point number 4, Bill Hader was actually a lot better than I expected. Knowing Bill Hader and knowing that like SNL was one thing and hadn't really seen him in a lot of movies, and knowing just him from SNL, I didn't know how he was gonna do in a movie like this one with how dark and how deep the characters have to go, especially 27 years later when there's a lot of repressed emotion going in there and a lot of dark periods, especially with his character having to understand who that character is, especially with what his sexuality was. I think he actually did a really good job in really bringing those characters in and letting it happen, and it was great. So overall, I give this movie a thumbs up. I really, again, for me, movies are about enjoyment, and if I really do enjoy it. And I thought the movie was fantastic. I had a great time enjoying this movie, and I had a great time watching back end of these characters really deal with demons that they hadn't dealt with for quite some time, and that was really great, and I really liked that, and it was a great movie. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and now I've got to watch chapter 1. That's awesome. So let me know in the comments down below, what are some of your thoughts about It Chapter 2? Please leave those in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Cardiac. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to release new videos every single week. As well as, if you like what we do here on the channel and with the Haunt Vlog series and would like to contribute, please visit the link to our Patreon page, as well as you'll also find all the links to our social media. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, my name is Forrest, and I'll see you in the shadows.